Well, this is Mary Kelly, and today, this is the 1st of December, 2022, as a follow-on to the Parker, Colorado Chamber of Commerce event of the future of the economic situation in both Colorado and in the nation. This is now what to do about it. This is how to grow your business during crisis, challenges, and changes, and we know we've had a lot of that. So we're going to accelerate into the curve. For many people, the last few years froze them into inactivity. They froze like deer in the headlights on a mountain road or like a bunny in the grass. They just froze. For other people, it was very much a fight or flight response. They didn't know how or what to combat because they were feeling a sense of loss and insecurity, and they didn't know whether to run out of their current situation, which a lot of people did. That's the Great Resignation, 4 million people every single month, or whether or not to fight with that and try to figure out some other issues. So some people also then, the fourth component of that was to fawn, and that is just placate the situation and hope it goes away. And we know that that doesn't always work either. So by way of a quick introduction, if you missed the live introduction that happened at the Parker Chamber event, I get to do this. I am a economic business leadership economist. So 2 economic factors in there. We start and end with it. I like to make things happen because of data. And then I like to prognosticate, look a little bit into the future and figure out what's going to happen next. So this is me. This is the QR code in case you would like to get hold of me or you'd like a little bit more of the background. You can go ahead and scan this with your phone if you'd like. That is perfect. And then you've got all my contact information as well. I love that QR codes made this comeback during COVID. That I think is one of the, there's a few positives I think that came out of COVID. One, of course, is telemedicine, which I love, and we should have been doing this for forever. But the other part of it is the advent and resurgence of QR codes. All right, here's a bunch of my books. I have a lot of them. Some are bound to be good. Some are better than others. The program today is based on 2 of these predominantly. One is called Better in 52 Weeks, and the other one is called 15 Ways to Grow Your Business in Every Economy. And so there's some principles in both of those. All right, so how are our businesses affected by world events? What are our teams concerned about? What are our clients and customers worried about? And how do we prosper in the future? That's what we're going to focus on today. Now, you might be worried about things like prospecting, how to find people to work with, how to find viable new markets if your old markets have gone in a different direction. Certain marketing efforts you might be concerned about that simply don't work anymore. Sometimes people say, Mary, prospecting takes time and it doesn't work and I don't know where to start. Some folks' sales funnels don't convert to sales. Some people are worried about their cash flow, especially as Justin and I were just talking, that investments have gotten more risky, not less. And they're more risky because there's more variables involved and the options have dramatically shifted. So attracting, keeping talent remains an issue. I'll just share with you a quick thing on that. When inflation went up a lot during the summer, I advised my individual clients, I said, you know what, go to your bank, go get a bunch of $500 gift cards from your bank, and then walk around to every employee and hand them to them and say, I just want to say, look, I know that inflation has gone up. Hopefully it goes back down. We don't know, but here's a gift card to make things a little bit easier. That's it. And for the companies who did that, they saw a great loyalty bump because it just showed that leaders were empathetic with what their workers were going through. And I told them to make the amount the same. $500, $1,000, $200, whatever it was, all the same, so that everybody, it was fair. And that's a big issue right now in the workplace is many workers feel and believe that they are not being treated fairly. And fairness is a very, very big deal. And then staying relevant. How do we make sure that our products, our services are relevant for the marketplace we have? And then how do we generate revenue? Because this is business. If we're not generating revenue, then it doesn't really matter anyway. And that doesn't matter. So I'm not sure why that pop-up just jumped in there, but we're going to try to get rid of that. And I apologize for that. And I don't know why that's there. All right. And making profits, because it's all about the profitability. If we're not profitable, then it doesn't matter either. So I don't know. Can you all see that little Apple thing? I'll just move it over there. I don't know why it's popping up, and it shouldn't because my notifications are off. So what do we need to stop doing? We need to stop stressing. We need to stop wasting time. We need to stop wasting resources. And we need to stop looking for the magic beans. I'm approached probably 20 times a day, as are you, by people who promise all kinds of great things in their world, and they're trying to sell me something the whole time, and it's the magic beans. We don't need the magic beans. So like I said before, you can swim with the tide, you can float with the tide, and you can swim against the tide. Swimming with the tide is easy. You're just doing what everybody else does. You can float with the tide, which is not make a whole lot of effort, and hope that your business gets carried along with it. You can also swim against the tide, which is being a contrarian and hope that whatever you're doing is going to work. My advice is to get ahead of the tide. I want you to surf the tide. For the forces we cannot change, let's get ahead of those changes. Make sure that we are providing for our folks what it is they need from us in the best possible way, and make sure that we are looking futuristically instead of backward looking. For a lot of people, not only were they stuck in the mud, but they were stuck in a very bad place, literally between the rock and the hard place for business, and they just couldn't figure out how to get out of it. So let's talk first off about a 5-minute mindset of optimization. So if you're listening to this right now and you're in front of a desk or someplace where you can write very quickly, think about when you're positioning yourselves for the future. I know this sounds very woo-hooey, but it starts with the brain for our mindset. With that mindset, very quickly, if we were to run through this, and this is how I start my execs. If I say something like, I am successful in my occupation, would you say yes, or maybe, or no? Now, that doesn't mean you can't be more successful. It's just, do you feel, believe, understand that you're successful? My business focus can be even more successful. For 99% of the people, it's yes. We could be even more successful. I surround myself with positive people. That's a real one. And look, folks, I got to share with you, I do my share of complaining. I get cranky. I have bad days. It's not too often, but then somebody said, well, how do you get yourself out of those bad days? And I will share with you that when I recognize I'm having a bad moment or a bad day, or I'm just grumpy, I say, okay, all right, I don't know why you're grumpy. Maybe you've got good reason to be grumpy. Don't really care, but it's 3:15 now. You can be grumpy till 4 o'clock, and then you're finished. Like, I don't allow my mind to run the rest of my world. For disappointments, for negative emotions, I literally give myself a time. At 4 o'clock, you will stop being grumpy. And then I'm like, okay, you can wallow in it for the next 45 minutes, and then you're finished. My closest friends do not complain a lot. They seem mostly happy. Yes, they seem mostly focused, mostly happy. Even though life is not a series of sunshines and rainbows and unicorns and sprinkles, but they seem mostly happy with what they do. When I work, I feel energized. Folks, I got to tell you, I would rather be working than pretty much anything else. I love the work I get to do. I have daily habits for success, mostly. I try to do a few things. I try to brush my teeth. Well, we all brush our teeth, but I brush my teeth. That never changes. I try to drink enough water, not always, and I try to get enough sleep, not always. I engage in healthy eating habits. If only I could say yes to that all the time. It's a struggle. I exercise or move my body regularly. Yes, mostly, maybe depending on the day. I actively practice gratitude on a daily basis. Yes, I have a journal, a 5-minute gratitude journal that I do work on every single day. And you've got my 5-minute gratitude plan for every single day, just in case. I actively partner with others to increase success. Yes, folks, I have a mastermind group and I have a business coach. And I think both of those contribute greatly to where I am. I seek coaching advice to guide my path toward greater achievement. Yes, I have a system in place to hold myself accountable. Yes, and I have people who know if I am not, and I have people who call me on my nonsense just in case. So you're getting this as a sheet today, but I find this to be really helpful, especially if you feel, and again, feelings are hard for me, especially if you feel you're looking at the news and certain things are not going the way you'd like. Now, I showed you this last time. People are worried about finances. And if you're a business owner or part of a business, you are worried about where that revenue is going to come from. We know that the inflation rate is the highest it's been in actually 40 years, not 30. Fuel, transportation, meat, and grocery products are seeing the highest increases. On emergency funds, I didn't mention this last time, but 26% of Americans right now do not have any emergency funds. And this is most concerning because the preponderance of those people are in the 30 to 49-year-old range, which worries me. Now, 23% say they can cover 6 months of expenses, but those happen to be the 18 to 30-year-olds. And over 90% of those folks are still living with mommy or daddy or both. So I don't quite think that counts. We are in a little bit of trouble when it comes time to emergency funds. And we know that financial stresses cause a fatigue, literal physical fatigue, difficulty concentrating at work, trouble sleeping for a lot of folks. Their financial worries keep them up at night, and it negatively affects relationships. The number one reason people fight as a couple, money. Number 2, sex. Number 3, children. I do not deal with numbers 2 and 3. And then top big picture, the goals are to save for retirement and buy a house. And then that's long-term, short-term. It used to be traveling. Now it's groceries. Now it's making sure that you're not overspending every month, and 13% of Americans are. And top short concern is rising prices, especially on the things that we easily measure, which is gasoline and milk. We love to measure things by the gallon. So again, I showed you this before. This is how you create your 2022 and beyond vision. This is 2023. Where are you in terms of the right people, the right technology, the right uncertainty in terms of management, and then the right business growth? So today, we're going to focus on the business growth, which is the strategy, how to optimize, how to find opportunities, and how to differentiate. In the center of all of what you do is your value. Whatever you sell, whatever you are providing to other people, whether it is a haircut or real estate or an organization or a restaurant, whatever that is, you can define your value. So let's say you are a restaurant. Your value, and this doesn't mean the lowest price, your value is top quality, 5-star restaurant trained service. Maybe it is homegrown herbs and spices. Maybe it is farm to table produce and meats. Maybe it is some fancy schmancy culinary school trained chef, whatever that is, all of it combines to the value of why people want to go to your restaurant, work with you, buy from you. So when you think about the value, and this is a hard thing to do, this is one of the first exercises I use with entrepreneurs, division heads, department heads, VPs. What is the value your department, your division, or your business provides to other people? So when COVID hit, many people were reluctant to share their value. And a friend of mine was one of those people who holds me accountable and said, so what do you do? And I said, well, I do some strategic planning and I do some development and economic and market information, crisis management, and I provide tactics and a little inspiration along the way. And they said, well, don't you think people need that right now? And that was what it took for me to go back to my clients and reach back out and say, how can we help? Because they needed that value at that time. So doing that value exercise, I think, is very helpful. And then think about it. How do you motivate your people? By your people, I'm not just talking about the people who work for you. I'm talking about the people who work with you, the people who work around you, your clients, your customers as well. And how do you keep your people meaningfully informed? And the big question I have on that is, if you have any team members at all, and if I said to your team members, hey, do you know what your boss's goals are for this month? If they looked at me and go, absolutely, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, that is what I'm looking for. But most people can't do that. Most people say, my boss has goals, I just don't know what they are. Well, how in the world can we expect people to be supporting us if they don't know our goals? So how do we keep our people meaningfully informed on what we're thinking, where we're going, our vision, mission, goals for the future, if we don't tell them? And not just at that once a year meeting where we say, here's our strategic plan. No, I'm talking every single month, at the beginning of every month, and today is a good day to do it. Get your people together and say, hey, let's have 15 minutes. I just want to share with you my goals. I'd like to help you develop your goals. And in the 12-month business success and accountability planner that I shared with you at our live event, I'm going to share that with you again. That is mapped out to make it very, very easy for you to do this. And then how do you maintain your team's focus on specific goals? Part of that, you talk through it every single month. Talk through it once a week. How are we doing on the goals? What's going on? Give me an update. Where have you made progress? Where did you get stalled? That getting stalled, that's why I love that picture of the car in the mud. People get stalled. And sometimes it's, hey, I kind of just got caught up in other things, or I just didn't get to it, or I don't know where I'm stalled or why I'm stalled, but here's where I am and I need a little bit of perspective. So help people figure out how to stay focused. And then this is how you set and clarify your goals with your people. It's talking to them. You got to let them know what's going on. And then how do you hold your people accountable? I had a meeting yesterday with some very senior officials in the state of Wisconsin. And in the state of Wisconsin, they have a lot of their folks still who work for the state are still working from home, which is fine. But we know that overall, when people work from home, yes, some people can do more productive work, but the accountability piece for a lot of people kind of fell off the table. So how do we hold our people accountable? And and be an empathetic and caring leader? And the answer is more conversations. And this is where people say, Mary, you don't understand. I'm tired too. Yeah. That's why you got to hold yourself accountable too. This is why you have to make sure that your goals are the right goals, that your vision is the right vision, and that you are helping your people understand what they need to do to be successful. And then how do you recognize that successful work? What are you doing to show people, hey, you value them? So think about, for just the folks on this call, I'd like to invite you to put this in the chat. If you said, hey, I don't really know the other people on this call, but I like the idea that I would have a whole group of people who maybe can help me achieve my goals. So think about what you would ask other people to help you with, especially if they're outside of your specific business. And then how would you ask for help? And then in the workplace, how do you recognize specific work when your people are doing it for you? Partly this is how to figure out what you need from other people and what that looks like. So then let's figure out a very quick acronym that I like to use. It's our pivot. I know we're sick to death of the word, but I've been using it for a long time, so I'm stuck with it and I'm going to share it with you. So first off, we have to reinvigorate ourselves with the sense of purpose. And that means also reinvigorating the people around us with a sense of purpose. When I am landing planes on an aircraft carrier, I'm 100% focused on that because I cannot be focused on anything else. I don't have to worry about whether or not it's a geopolitical issue or whether my politics align with the pilot or any of that stuff. None of that matters. What matters is getting that plane on that carrier deck safely. That's all we care about. So at the heart of this, understanding the purpose of what it is you do, who you help, and who benefits when you succeed is huge. The I in pivot is how to inspire and influence other people every single day. Where can we give other people our influence and our inspiration? How can you help the people around you? Because remember, during COVID, we got very myopic. People put masks on, they stopped looking at each other in the eye, they passed people in the grocery stores, people ignored each other because they were afraid people were all going to kill each other just by breathing. Now it's different. Now we understand there's ways to kind of mitigate this, even though hospitalization rates are back up. We know we have to show up and inspire and influence people every single day. Now, that looks different to different people. If you've got people working with you, maybe they're inspired by financials. Maybe they're inspired by just being around other people. Maybe they just want to buy organic kibble for their cats and dogs. Whatever inspires your people, you have to know what inspires them and help them with that. The V is the volatility. Now, this is key. For many people, the volatile situation that was COVID and everything else around it was compounding the volatile situation they were already living with. Most people's stress bucket was already pretty full before all this started. And then we throw this global pandemic on everything and it just increased the stress level. So I like to ask people specific questions. Instead of saying, hey, how you doing? And I used to do this and I made all these mistakes. The good ones I made more than once. And I would walk around and I would say, how you doing? And you know what I got? Good, great, fine. Sometimes fantastic, awesome. Sometimes they go, oh, just great. It didn't tell me at all how they were really doing or how I as a leader could help them. So the V is the volatility. Instead of just asking, how you doing? Ask people, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being absolutely fantastic, life just couldn't get better, to 1, things are really, really, really tough. And I don't even want to talk about it. That's when we need to talk about it. So let's think about that for a second. If you say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being great, 1 being really bad, where are you today with everything going on around you? And if they say, I'm a 6, okay, what's it going to take for you to get to an 8? And sometimes it's something simple. Well, I wish my computer was faster, or I wish, our system could upload things faster, or I wish that we had this. Or sometimes it's, hey, I'm just having a real tired day. I wish I'd slept last night. Okay, I'm not worried about you then. If you say you're an 8 and the only thing that's going to get you to a 10 is maybe an old fashioned after work, I'm not worried about you at all. But if you say, I'm a 4, I'm a 3, I'm a 2, that means as a leader, I'm going to jump on in there. I'm going to say, hey, let's maybe just take a quick break. Let's go for a walk. Let's have a chat. We have resources. I'm not trying to get in your business, but is there something you want to talk through? How can I help you strategize on what needs to happen next? Because every major shift comes with it a degree of uncertainty, and we have to manage that uncertainty as the leadership. Now, for most of us on the spectrum, we can be anywhere and we can be anywhere during a different part of the day. So we have to find the opportunities to not only help our people, but to also grow our business. Now, this is a store in the Park Meadows Mall that popped up in June of 2020. And if you had told me in January of 2020, hey, I have decided to create a store and I'm going to pay storefront, property rental prices. I'm going to create a store that just makes masks and sells hand sanitizer. In January of 2020, I would have said that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of, maybe next to goat yoga, and I would have been wrong. So let's think about that for a second. Just because it was a dumb idea a few months ago doesn't mean it's a dumb idea now. And then we have to find the opportunities. So whatever your stressors look like in your world, think about asking questions of where the opportunity is. And this is a great exercise to do with your team, or if you got some quiet time by yourself. I like to do it over a glass of wine, but that's just me. Where are there unmet needs where we can help? And that, if it's not your own business, that's okay. Look around and situationally position yourself. Say, okay, where in this organization can I actively help other people? And where can I best serve other people? I'm not talking about being a doormat. I'm talking a genuine leadership-based, selfless desire to help others. And where can we best serve our clients and our customers? And maybe you have patients or association members. And where are my people's immediate needs right now? Because if you don't solve those immediate needs right now, you're not going to get long-term productivity out of anybody. You're not going to get long-term anything out of anybody. So think about people's immediate needs right now. And if I had plenty of money and resources and time, what would I do first? And what needs to be invented to solve the current problem I'm focusing on? And then I like to just think crazy things. What is the most far-fetched, outrageous, crazy idea possible for this situation? And then what's the craziest impossible idea for this situation? And is there something that needs to be invented to solve this issue? Can I invent that? And then my best questions on this are, what are the benefits of having this challenge right now? Because when we talk about crisis, challenge, and change, we have to think about, in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, what are the benefits of having this challenge right now? And in a year, what will we say was a great outcome of this situation? The T in pivot is the tools, training, and technology. These are all tactics. When we talk about strategy, of course, we're talking about the overall vision, but these are the tools, training, and tactics that we need in order to implement whatever we need to do. And sometimes that includes technology. And when I talked to a group of firefighters in Salt Lake City, I asked him, I said, you know what, the rest of us see a burning building and we run out of the burning building. You run into the burning building. How do you get past the fear? How do you respond that way? And they told me they trust their gear, their training, and their leadership, and not in that order. Isn't that interesting? So this is what we have to provide for our people. So how do I get more business? And what do I do to help people through a crisis, challenge, and change? And how do I, if you're an entrepreneur, just a busy person, how do we find more time in the day to do what you need to do? So let's talk for a few minutes about growing your business, whatever aspect of the business you control. What are your current challenges? So I would love it if you would throw something into the chat box about a current challenge that you're having, because I would love to address that while we are here. And figure out then how we can put our strategic plan together that involves the big picture, our big purpose, the plan, and our people, and how we put all of this together. So when we look at this, I like to block things out so that it makes sense to my brain. We're going to look at the big picture, which is our vision for the future. And then we're going to think about our purpose, the why. And then we're going to map out the plan, map out the goals, and then figure out how we get the right people in the right place to do the right thing every time. So the vision for the future, for example, exciting and motivating and forward thinking, and it needs to think big. So whenever somebody says, well, I've got a haircutting salon and, I just like to get a few more customers. So I like to multiply that by 10. Every time somebody says, I want to do something, okay, think big, multiply it by 10. What if you had 10 haircutting salons? What would that look like? Oh, and TJ, great question in the chat box. Shifting members away from what's in it for me mentality to how can I support the community mindset? Yes. So I want to address that for just a second, because I think it is so important, is that COVID took away a lot of people's sense of community. We need to get back to that. We couldn't get together for baseball games and the ballet, and we couldn't go to bars, all the B words, we couldn't do those. So now all of a sudden we got more myopic, more introspective, more protect me and everything that's in it for me. In the 6 stages of a crisis, challenge, or change that I talk about, the first 4 stages, when people are faced with a crisis or a challenge or a change, is protect what you can protect, which is you, yourself, your job, your family, your community then comes secondary. And you're absolutely right. How do we help people see that? And TJ, I think especially in the great and wonderful position you are in, we have to push people into understanding that they matter and that their role in the community matters. And we have to ask people for help. And then we have to let them know that we need their help. Like, seriously, we need your help. And this is what we need them to do. And not just, hey, if there's anything we can do to help, let us know. No, 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 no. No, give people tasks. Say, I need very specific things. And this is what we need from you. And ask and get people back involved, get people back to thinking that they can make a difference in their community and they need to make a difference in their community. The 5-minute mission plan is one of my favorites as well, because it focuses on what we actually do, who we serve in the future, and then what major changes we're going to continue to see, but also how that's going to affect our purpose and what legacy do we want to leave for other people. When people think, gosh, the chamber's just done so well since TJ came in. They're right. And regardless of what happened before, people look at TJ and go, yeah, you're making all this stuff happen. That's a legacy. And if there were no constraints, what would we do? And from that, we craft our vision. We are the premier chamber of commerce in Colorado, in the United States, whatever that looks like. It all comes down to yes, no, and maybe. What are we willing to actually say yes to? For some people, if it's not a heck yes, then it's a heck no. A heck maybe, oh, nobody likes the heck maybe. And I don't mean heck. What we want are people who are enthusiastic about the yes, and that's all about the growth. The why is who benefits with our success. Maybe it's your family, maybe it's your community, maybe it's your state. Do we have the right services and products at the right time? I'm the first one to say that I was digging through my inventory closet the other day, and I found a whole bunch of CDs and DVDs. Now, I'm pretty sure that that nobody wants my DVDs and CDs so much. Nope, just not even thinking they're a thing. So what do I do with them? So it's not the right time to be focused on DVDs and CDs. David's asking the question, is it time to share my experience and knowledge and success tools on a big scale? And if so, what platforms to pursue? Oh, such a good question. I'm just going to go, David, I'm going to go with yes. I think it is time, because the future needs solid solutions and they need to be delivered in a way that makes sense. If you want to talk offline, I would love to do that. And what are our customers' needs and our company's benefits? And how are we different and better than everybody else? And you don't have to be different and better in every other way. You just have to be different and better in a way that works for your clients and customers. And then you have to focus on the areas that really motivate you. Do you want to make more money? Do you want to spend more time with your friends? This is my mastermind, by the way. Do you want to spend more time with your pets? Do you want to focus on your health? Do you want to figure out what needs to happen for the business? I got, by the way, sanctioned by Facebook because I put my Corona Cure Chilean Carmenere, which is an actual wine that I bottled in October of 2022. Does it actually solve the virus? Well, no, of course not. I just thought it would be funny, but Facebook said that I was, promulgating incorrect information about a cure for COVID. Anyway, some of you know that all of my books and programs have their own wine label, and some of you just realized I could be more interesting than you thought originally. All right. So let's map out the goals. What is our clear and compelling path? Then once we figure that out, let's assign timelines and then create deadlines. And treat those deadlines like it's a school paper. And if you don't turn it in tomorrow, the highest grade you can get is an F. Like really, really focus on the deadlines and communicate those goals to hold people accountable, because that is what people need. They need to be held accountable for what it is they need to do. And once we map those out, and that 12-month success planner is really helpful for this, then we can figure out who we need. Who do we need in our life? And this is such a great, for those of you who remember Rolodexes, the Rolodex was all the people in your life, and you knew that you could put your fingers on their contact information right away. And now, because of technology, it's not in front of us anymore. And in some cases, it's information pull instead of information push. The Rolodex on your desk actively pushed those people to you every single day because it was right in front of you. So figure out the right people you need on your team, in your life to promote your business, and then show appreciation for that and reward the right outcomes and surround yourself with the quality people you need, both in terms of maybe a mastermind, your coaching, your business, your employees, your community, your family, all of that. Because we are people who need people, we need the right people. So this is what I call the entrepreneurial hustle. There's the daily discipline, what we do every single day that helps us focus to make sure that we're taking the right actions and thinking the right thoughts. And for some people, that means doing the right outreach, maybe implementing the right social media plan, and maybe improving our products. And then we focus on the spheres in which we operate. Where are we known? What is our niche or niche? I have no idea how to pronounce that word, market. And then what industry do we want to focus on, and what community are we serving? Are there specific solutions that we have? And how do we own our market? And what expertise do we bring to the table? And then what is our dependable delivery? What are we great at delivering every single time, whether it's a meal or a haircut or a service? What does that look like? And are we doing it with the right research for what our clients need, with the right energy and intensity, as well as being unique for everybody else? And on this, I like to ask the question when people say, we're doing a really good job. Are you giving 100% every time? 100% every single time. Whatever that is, it needs to be 100%. And that's what we're looking for. Now, this is the most fun part of, I think, this program. This is the 5-minute business growth plan. So when I talk to people about what they need to do to push their business forward for the new year, what I suggest they do is print this out and then answer these questions. Yes, maybe, not sure, no. For the yeses, look at the top things where you indicate the word yes, and then prioritize them. So you're gonna go through this. We're gonna go through this together, and then the top areas where you answer, where you answer no. The yeses you don't worry about. The nos you pay attention to. You look at the areas where it's the place where that will generate the most revenue or profitability. So for example, you're going to look at the areas where you need the most help, and then you're going to pick the top 3. You're not going to focus on every single one of them. So do we have a business plan that accurately describes our business? Yes, maybe, not sure, no. We have a strategic vision for our business that's driving us toward future success. Everyone is clear on our goals for moving the organization forward. That, I got to tell you, for most people, that they say not sure, it's really a no. We know our break-even points as well as our total revenue, total costs, and our profit margins. This is the area where you want things to be fat. You want the distance between your total costs and your total revenues to be the largest space possible. We have systems in place for actively generating, receiving, and thanking referrals. Thanking referrals is critically important. We have systems in place to show customers our appreciation for their business, and not just when they make the buy, all throughout the year. What are we giving them? What are we providing them? How are we their partner, not just a provider of a service or a product? We have systems in place for getting honest feedback. Many people have systems in place, but they ignore it or they discount it. Our website is easy to navigate. And no, not you. And not by you, by your clients, by people who are not familiar with what it is you do. And our website is mobile friendly. Folks, the algorithms change every few months. So every few months, make it a point at a meeting to say, hey, I've got an Android, who's got an iPhone? Pull those out and look up your website and see and make sure that the mobile friendly parts of it are still mobile friendly. Our social media is updated consistently and linked to our website. Okay, so this is all about search engine optimization. So 2 things on this. If I look at your social media and within 5 tweets or posts or LinkedIn notes, whatever, if I can't figure out what it is you do, there's a problem. Make sure at least every 5th thing on your social media, you're mentioning what it is you do. Where's your value? What are you providing? What did you do this week that helped other people? And then link your social media to your website. And here's why. And I'm just assuming that you're not doing anything silly on your social media that you don't want linked to your website. That automatically provides fresh content to your website. So search engine optimization works in 2 ways. First, it likes a website that's been around for a long time, like a restaurant that's been in business for forever. This is why changing names is very difficult, because all of a sudden it throws off the search engines. So think about the restaurant that has been around for a long, the old spaghetti factory. All right, love them or hate them doesn't matter. You say Old Spaghetti Factory and you know immediately what that looks like. The search engine spiders love longevity. The second thing they love is fresh content every single day. Now, you may not be writing a new article, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but you need to have a series of things that market you as a subject matter expert in what it is you do or what your company does and why you are in fact different. You can do that with a series of blog articles, with a question and answer section, with a top 10 myths, top 10 facts people don't know. Like with Justin in real estate, oh, that's the easiest thing ever. Top 10 things people think they know about commercial real estate, but really don't. Top 10 myths about investing in commercial real estate. 7 areas where commercial real estate outperforms the market. Like just all kinds of things that, and you don't even have to write it. You can just link other people's stuff to your website just with a link. Hey, I saw this really good article. It's here. That's all you need to do. And it helps with search engine optimization. So our social media is updated consistently and linked to our website. Our website can capture customer contact information. Yes, I hate those little pop-up marketing things too, but they do work. And if you are providing something of value, I think I have an ebook or something on my website right now that does that, then that's helpful. I also like it on my website that if you go there once and it recognizes you or the computer you're on, that it doesn't ask for it again, you don't get the pop-up again. Now, we have trusted advisors to keep us on track, such as a corporate advisor, a board of directors, or some kind of mastermind group. In many cases, you all use the Chamber of Commerce as your de facto mastermind, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone on our team gets professional training, and it's professionally done, or there's some kind of structure to it. We devote resources to professional training. For many people, the answer is, I don't know. And that's something to think about. Does everybody on the team know how to take great care of our customers? And do they? You can know something and not do it. So that's part of the question. And then do we follow up with clients the way we should? The answer for most people on that is no, we don't. We could always do better. I could always do better. And I write stuff on this. So again, pick 3 of these that you might want to focus on in the new year. So let's say you want to focus on your social media aspect and linking that to your website, and maybe some customer service initiatives, which is going to be hand in hand with some training, and then maybe follow up. Let's say you're going to do that. All right, what would that look like? So I have what I call the 4 M's, Mary's 4 M's, the checklist. And it's your messaging, your marketing, your management, and the me, what this looks like. So the messaging is, I have current offerings that are relevant now for my target audience. So again, my CDs, my DVDs, not so much. My products and services have evolved over the past 12 months. Are you current in the market? Have you changed your website? Have you changed your look? Are you making sure you're addressing things that are more top of mind now, like safety and cleanliness and all of that? Product and service descriptions are updated on the website and social media. What do you do and can we find it? Is your business aligned with your background and your expertise? Is your sales conversion and conversation processes, this is your prospecting, is that a smooth, polished, and practiced funnel? Many people say, I don't need to practice my sales script or my sales conversations. And that's when people say, well, what about this? And then they get thrown, and then they say, well, I don't know. And then that expertise doesn't really mean much because they look silly. So when we talk about sales or your sales teams, make sure they know the objections that people are going to come across. I have a gal yesterday who is in line to take over a position. And I know what the administration's hesitancy is going to be with her in that role. And they're going to say that she does not project enough confidence and that she does not speak well in front of others. I said, so these are going to be 2 things that are probably going to be raised. And what is your answer? And then we worked on making sure she had the right answers for both of those issues. So I think she's going to be great in the job, but I can see where they're going to have the concerns, and she needs to just make sure that those concerns are met. So that's messaging. And then marketing. I have updated my past and current clients on new and current offerings. All right, folks, I'll just share with you. I had a fail. I had a client call me up and say, hey, we want you for this. And I said, great. And I said, so when was the last time you did this, like a 360? And they said, oh, we just did a 360 this past fall. I said, really? I said, who did that for you? And they told me, of course, it was one of my direct competitors. And by that time, it was a little bit late for me to go, we do 360s too. And then I just looked, you just look desperate and sad. Bad on me to not update my past and current clients on new and current offerings. I reach out to current and future clients every week on a consistent basis. What are you doing to stay top of mind? And then what does your social media do to help you with that by you being part of groups where your clients might be? And does your social media marketing focus on conveying that value that you identified right in the beginning, what it is you do? And do you provide great information and valuable content when you send things out to your email list? And do you keep that email list and that CRM updated? And then are you engaging people and really engaging people in personalized marketing to make sure that they are getting what it is you do? And again, that website, are you up to date and does it convey your value? Is it easy to navigate everywhere, regardless of what it is people are looking for? And then is your search engine optimization driving new business to me? And do you cherish referrals from other people as though they were brand new puppies or kittens or babies? Like you cherish the referrals, you love the referrals, you make sure those referrals are so followed up and cultivated. And you go back to the person who made the referral for you and you thank them, all of that. And then once a week, do you have a system that generates leads? And do your lead generation promotions help you get the right people? Are they timely? Are they relevant? Are they value for my clients? And are they unique to me? So for example, I have a brand new white paper called Burnout, the new crisis in healthcare. And it talks about symptoms, causes, which are not the same things, patient costs, revenue costs, solutions, and then long-term prescriptions. Now, that is mostly relevant to just my healthcare people. So that is a great lead generation for me for healthcare people, but it is not going to work at all with my financial planning people. So that's going to be something different. That's my point there. So let's talk a little bit about how we create this marketing and get the things done. Yes, it is more productive to do the hard things first. Everybody will tell you that. But Harvard also came out and said, we can only do 4 hours of big brain work a day. And that might mean 4 hours of really hard thinking or being on, making those client calls and whatever's going to make you money. Do the hard things first. Do the thing that's going to make you the money first. And that's where you want to use your big brain. And then taking a break is really about giving your brain a big break from doing the hard things. And then do some easy things. And by taking a break, I don't mean stop working. I mean, go do easy things and then come back and do the hard things. So management, how are we managing our flow, our workflow? Do we have systems and habits that allow us to stay really consistent? And then do we have a CRM system? So for a lot of folks, an Excel spreadsheet works great. You can do that for a long, long time until you grow enough to where you can't. Do you automate the scheduling of business and discovery calls? I use an automatic booking link. You don't book it, but whoops, sorry about that. But I'm going to put it in the chat because I think it's a really interesting tool and I love how it schedules things. I can schedule consulting clients versus discovery calls versus quick 15-minute calls. And then I don't have to go back and forth and go, hey, do you have any time this week when we can schedule a call? I don't know. I've got Thursday afternoon. No, I can't do it then. Oh, going back and forth on that is just maddening to me. Every engagement has a system for client communications and meeting client deadlines. Where do you store this? How do you make sure you're doing things? And then I or somebody on my team responds quickly to any kind of inquiry or question. Nothing is more frustrating. I was considering using a new technology. I love new technology. And so I get on their website and I get into the chat bot and I say, yes, I'd like to, here's my question. And they said, somebody will get back to you in 72 hours. Now, if that's Friday night, I can see 72 hours. But if it's Monday morning and they're still saying it's going to take 72 hours to get somebody back to me to answer a simple question, I'm done. And it was Monday morning. So we were done. I have systems in place to generate helpful feedback. I already mentioned that. I automate reminders for task deadlines. One of the reasons I like my booking link is it reminds me as well as the person who booked it, assuming they put in their email, their phone number, it will remind people of that booking, which I love. And I schedule the important work. If I know I have to get a proposal out, I put it on the calendar. And you know what happens? When 11 o'clock rolls around and I see do this proposal on the calendar, I get that proposal done. That's the idea. And then my invoice processing includes monthly reviews. I mentioned this because I worked with a team 2 weeks ago in Kansas, and they said they know they have a lot of outstanding invoices and they do a lot of things. And I said, okay, so what's your oldest invoice? And they said, you mean our unpaid invoice? I said, yeah. They said, maybe 2 years old. Okay, good luck collecting that one. No, we have to be paying attention to this every single month. And is your technology updated, and does it work well wherever you are? So then the me side. Are we consistently on an individual basis over delivering from the client's perspective? Are you super, 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 super easy to work with? And are you adapting quickly to the changing needs of the client? Are you focused on delighting the client? And yes, there's times, folks, you need to fire a client. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking the clients you love, they love you. It is a great relationship and you want to keep them. And then are you determined to do what it takes to help them look like heroes? The whole point when you provide a good or a service isn't to make you look like a hero, it's to make your clients look like a hero, to help them look great in front of their clients and their customers, their boss, all of that. And are you enthusiastic and excited about the work we get to do and the people we get to serve? And that's the me side of this. So I did want to touch, well, I've got a few more minutes on what follow-up might look like for certain clients. I know a lot of people struggle with the follow-up. So I wanted to touch on that. So here's maybe that from that 5-minute business growth plan, here's the 5-minute follow-up plan that aligns with that very bottom point on follow-up. So how can we increase our follow-up? Now, you don't have to do all of these, but you can do some of these. You can send a note. You can use a service like send out cards or handwritten, or a friend of mine just ordered a consulting book and sent it out to his clients. He knows they do consulting. And I thought, well, that's a clever idea as well. Offer people a short discovery conversation or consultation, invite people for a virtual or real coffee, get them to, help them figure out, that you're somebody that you can partner with, and actually pick up the phone and call people. So there's some suggestions here. When I do my what I call my 90-day cycle of love, all the love, I have 4 steps. First, and there's a handout on this. I'm giving the handout so that you can make sure that you can find this on your own. And the idea here is you choose 30 people and you're going to love on those 30 people for 90 days. And those, they might come from different places, whatever that looks like. So you're going to choose 30 people, love on them for 30 days. Now you might have cold outreach as part of that. You might have personal contacts as part of it, people you've met. But I also use something called the Intel engine. Sam Richter developed this Intel engine, and it is my substitute for my business intelligence the way I was doing it before. So this is what I use now when I want business intelligence. Because again, okay, horrifyingly enough, yep, that's me on the left-hand side, just in case you needed help. That's me on the left-hand side is a brand new plebe at the Naval Academy. Folks, I did 26 years in uniform. And when I walked out of that, I didn't have a past Rolodex of high-powered corporate clients like y'all do. So I had to find those people in different ways. And I started with the Intel engine, which is here. It's intelngin.com. LinkedIn is helpful for kind of perusing things. I also love the association encyclopedia. It's literally called the Encyclopedia of Associations. The hard version of that, hardcover version, is in your library. And then association execs. So here you can find people in a specific area and then look at the associations they're in and kind of work backwards. And I like that a lot. The Intel engine is very much a micro where you find specific people. Let's say you want to find all of the executives in the HR department of 3M. That's how you do that. And then give those people attention. Whatever people you're trying to give attention to, give them attention. And that attention, this is my 12-step process, the 12-step process. So connect on LinkedIn, and then maybe send a handwritten note, and then maybe send a postcard. And then I send one of my books, perhaps with a one sheet. A one sheet is a one-page flyer that talks about what I do. I might send one of my workbooks. So it's helpful if you have these things, but if you don't, you can use somebody else's. Then maybe a sales trigger or industry information link that I find, again, mostly through the Intel engine. That just, if I do nothing but 15 minutes of Intel engine research a day, that takes the place of where it used to take me 2 to 3 hours a day. And then that also gives me hard copy articles where I can print them out and then physically mail them to people. People like lumpy mail. They still like mail. Mail is still fun for people to get if it is not a solicitation and if it's genuinely helpful. And then I do swag that revolve around the wine world that I'm in. And by the wine world, I mean the wine that I make. So I'll send a wine bottle opener, and that has my website on it. So Productive Leaders. And then I'll put an aerator in there, but that has my dog on it. And then I'll put the bottle stopper in there. Also just has my dog on, doesn't have anything to do with me. People like that. And so I'll send that in a little package and I'll say, hey, be watching your front door for the bottle of wine that goes with this. And so just, it increases a little bit of excitement, and it makes them look forward to something. And then for me, this might work for you too, but I can do a very short webinar or a very short micro learning moment of, hey, this is 8 minutes on how to focus better at work. Here's 6 minutes on how to increase your team's productivity. Here's 5 ways on how your team can be even better. Just something very quick that they can use or send out to their teams. And then when in doubt, I just send food. There's that. So these are things I do for 90 days. It's very focused. This is what my kitchen table looks like when I do this. I have a team of people who do this with me, so it's not just me, but it's sometimes I think that other people might need more sales. So I'll use other people's stuff. I use Mark Hunter. I use Meredith Elliott Powell. I like Ron Carr's Velocity, and I like David Averin's Morning Huddle and his stuff on customer service. And then sometimes I will send a picture. I'll print the postcard of my dog and the book, and then I send the postcard and I go, hey, one of these is on the way to you. And I just pick 4 books randomly that I know people like. Sometimes I will just swap out my dogs just to give people something new. And then sometimes I will send a picture of my dog with a book as well. Just fun marketing things. These are samples of my one sheets. They're on my website. And the exercise of putting together a one sheet, I think, is very helpful, where you have to very concisely show what it is you do. This again drives that value proposition. And then appreciate your people and your customers, your clients. Appreciate them like crazy. This was Oprah's gift. Every single person in her audience felt appreciated. One of the other areas where I think most businesses can use some help is the customer service. You maybe saw that Frontier Airlines is getting rid of their customer service phone number. Okay, that's going to be a problem, because can you imagine the poor gate agents now? Oh, I'm sorry, you have to go to the website. People are standing there going, I don't have a phone. I don't have a website. And then in some airports, there's not good Wi-Fi. There's not good internet. Some people live without internet. So that's not going to be terribly helpful. And I think that's going to wind up backfiring on them. For many people, customer service continues to be a struggle. So are our customers wowed by every interaction of our organization, every single step? Can we find ways to improve from the customer's point of view, not from our point of view? And that's where Frontier, I think, made a critical error. If we improved our customers' experience, what would that do for our organization? And where can we do this? And then what parts of the buying process stop customers from proceeding with the purchase? It's frustrating to me when people say, we're sorry to see you go. I want them to ask me, why did you go? Why are you never renewing your subscription? And maybe it was something stupid that they're doing that if they just fixed it would be great. Maybe it is the fact that I no longer need those services. So to me, that knowing why we lose customers is critical. And then how do we provide additional information or services throughout the process? And where do our customers commit to us? And I mean commit like loyalty, where they're not going to go anywhere else. And then how is that follow-up? Fabulous, not great, oh, cringeworthy. Where can we improve our follow-up? Specifically, what on that other list can we do? And then what can we provide to our clients that add value for them? So for example, I was on a discovery call with a group of people who's a new client this morning, and they said, we're wondering if you can, and in my head, I'm already thinking, yes, and how many yeses can I give them? And how can I do that differently than what other people have given them before? And I said, well, this is what's worked for me with groups like yours in the past, but your group is slightly different. And it sounds to me like you're looking for this. And we can absolutely create that customized product for you. And they just did backflips. So I'm going to finish up with some battle for productivity and then 2 minutes worth of time management. Being busy does not mean you're productive. Make sure you're doing the right things. Here's my 5-minute productivity plan. How do we take control of our time? Who is giving us kittens when it comes time to sucking up our time. To be most effective, we have to SDS, stop doing stupid. And we have to somehow figure out ways to mitigate those time vampires. Sometimes it's the computer we're on. Sometimes it's the people around us. Sometimes it's a project. So nice ways to stop interruptions. You've probably got your own list, but keep those handy because you need to make sure that you are not allowing other people to task you if that is not the intent. And do what we do best. What can you outsource or trade? And what kind of 5-minute jobs can you get done right now? What can you do right now that's going to make your life better? I use one of these every single day. This is my productivity plan. I share it with folks. It usually looks like this by the end of the day. I write all over it. I do drink my own Kool-Aid. I use my own stuff. And the reason I use my own stuff is because I started using it for me before I started sharing it with my clients. And this works for me. What calls do I have to make? What follow-up? This is a fillable, downloadable sheet that you can use a million times. I do. And then you print it out and it kind of keeps you straight. I do one of these every week. What really, really, really needs to happen? Here's the magic. I write down the time in minutes. The time in minutes is the procrastination killer because sometimes you're thinking, oh gosh, I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to watch that video. I don't really want to respond to this client. And then all of a sudden you look at it and go, wait, the time in minutes, it's going to take me 7 minutes. All right, I'm going to do this right now. Get it off the list. Kills procrastination. Create systems over goals. And the reason for that is to make sure that we are systematizing what it is we do. So a system is more than a habit. It's something you just don't have to think about it to reach that goal. And then evaluate the systems you've got in place. If you need help getting your newsletter out, hire somebody. I think every single one of you should have your own virtual assistant in some way, shape, or form. There are part-time virtual assistants. There's virtual assistant services as well. And then make plans the night before. That's what the productivity sheet is great for. And I love that idea. And then here's my final sheet, the goal setting plan. Many people are going to set New Year's resolutions. I'm going to have a goal setting challenge. It will be free at the beginning of the year. And we're going to help people achieve some goals. And it's a series of weeks. This is part of it. This is the goal setting plan. So let's say your goal is, I don't know about you, I'm going to lose that 10 pounds. So completion date, 90 days, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I will lose 10 pounds by the 30th of March. My obstacles are, I don't really like to drink water. I know I should drink water. I don't really like it. But then I have to brainstorm on the solutions. Okay, I'm going to keep water with me all the time. I should exercise every single day, but I don't. So I'm going to do 1 push-up a day. And if I do 1, maybe I can do more. So I'm going to map out the obstacles. I'm going to map out possible solutions. And then I'm going to look at the action steps. So this is where I think we can do very well. And with this, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go to that slide where I have, you can text the word dog. I'm going to blow this up. Text the word dog to 66866. And this is going to take you to this vault of resources, which is going to give you everything that I talked about here today. You can also just email me at mary@productiveleaders.com. So text the word dog to 66866 or email me and we are there.